Time to start. So welcome everyone. Many thanks for joining this, I don't know how many already, edition of the Commodore Users Europe. So we have, like always, a nice agenda that was announced on the website. I will show that right now. I hope you can follow on your screen. So a couple of games being developed or already developed with Matthew and Micah, and then Amiblitz with Basic for Amiga from Sven, a nice tool from Back to the 8-bit. Arturo will present the giftopetscii tool. I hope you have already seen that. It looks super nice, all these things. And of course, Gennaro with the Commodore 64 emulator on Android. I had some comments or let's say some requests to move this meeting because there was quite a few other events ongoing this week. I think this weekend was just absolutely crazy. I think you have X 2023 in the Netherlands. That is ongoing. That was yesterday and today. There is also a couple of geek days, one in the UK, one in France. There is this OOF party in Switzerland. So it's just crazy. But yeah, I think at a certain moment you need to choose a date, and if it coincides with something else, okay, that's a bit the risk. Of course, all the talks that are presented today here will be recorded. And later on, then the talks will be available on our YouTube channel. So they can be replayed. So for the people who are attending these events, they can also still look at or review the presentations from today. Maybe also good to know, if you speak Spanish, there is also an event that starts in Argentina that is organized by Commodore Argentina. And this will happen more or less, I think, right after. If now we take 2 hours, it will start more or less right after that. You need to check on the Facebook page of Commodore Argentina. It's a Google Meet event. So if you want to have a full evening of Commodore stuff, then you start here. And then when we finish, it will be more or less time to jump to their meeting. I think they start like 5:30 local time in Argentina, which is either 9:30 or 10:30 that you need to verify. But I will certainly jump to that one once we finish here. I don't know what time I will have dinner, but that will be super interesting, I guess. Let me see if for next. The first speaker is in. No, I see that on Facebook Messenger. He told me okay, but I don't see Matthew with us now. No, he's not. So maybe he has some troubles joining. Yeah, otherwise, I don't know. Micah, are you with us?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Maybe you could start, then maybe we can just switch from and have you first. So with and then you need to tell me how you pronounce that. Lair of the Lich King, or?
Yeah, it's called the Lair of the Lich King.
Perfect. Okay.
Let me share, if that's all right.
Let me stop sharing, and then if you can start sharing, and then I will launch the recording of the talk. Perfect. So Micah, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just gonna give me a second here. I'm not sure. Oh, lovely. Sorry, I just have to give Zoom some permissions, and then one of those things. In the old days, computers just started up and anyone could do anything.
Okay, then I will just stop the recording for.
Yeah,
just
sorry,
let me know.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I need to quit and relaunch Zoom, so I'll be back in.
Okay, okay, perfect. No, don't worry, just do so. I hope he doesn't need to restart the whole computer. Yes, he's in.
Okay, hey folks, can you hear me again?
Yes. We see a nice picture. Okay, now we see you again. Yes, and we can hear you well. Yes.
Try to share screen again.
Mhm. Perfect. Just wait a second, and I will start the recording again. There you are.
Okay. Sorry, it's not. I lost my mouse here. Okay. Let me ask a question. Can I have a thing on my screen that says this is being recorded, and I can't dismiss it. Oh,
Okay, it should disappear after a few seconds, I guess.
Okay. So, hey, thank you, everyone. Thank you for the invite. Thanks for a chance to talk to you all. My name is Micah Bly. I want to talk about my game, Lair of the Lich King, which is a game I've been working on for a while. But kind of what I want to go through today is a little very quick intro of me, and then talk about how to, what the Lich King is, and I made it, and some of the challenges there, and what's the future plans there. And we'll do a really quick demo too as well. So kind of de rigueur the thing of me, how I got into computing. So we started my family with a Timex Sinclair 1000, which was a ZX81, but we thought it was super cool because we could see ourselves type on the TV. My brother got a 64. I got a 128 sometime after that. Loved the 128, stayed with it for long time. Eventually got a Amiga 500, and ended up with probably one of my favorite computers ever, the Amiga 3000, which unfortunately I sold and had to rebuy at a very expensive price. But that's the way it goes. Back then, computers cost real money. So newer these days, now those are all retro computers. What I like to do with them is mostly programming. So I spend a lot of time doing mostly C and assembly. I like to work on the 128s. There's so many people do it for a 64. I don't even want to go near it. It's just like, and they're all way better than me, so that's fine. I do like programming for the B series because no one knows what it is, and I have a dream someday of getting my B working and having some software on it, something fun. I like Mac OS 6, the first one, just because first graphic environment thing for home computers, really. It's not much fun to program on, though. I kind of hate programming for it because of that whole memory manager thing. I have my Amiga still. I like to do Amiga. I don't do some Amiga DOS. I'm saying Amiga DOS, but whatever, Amiga OS, whatever we're calling it these days. And recently I like these retro computers, the Phoenix series. I've got a couple of them, and hopefully another one coming. I also just like to, I suppose as we all do, I like to play with the old stuff. So got a bunch of computers, like to play with them, fix them up when I can. Unfortunately, I have a job, so I don't get to do that much, but so I would like to, I got an X Cube last year at a VCF in the auction, but it's got water damage. We'll probably never run, but you never know, it's worth a shot. And then when I have some spare time, I help my friend. There's a friend of mine who's got a computer store here. He's had a computer shop forever. He was a Commodore repair tech. I actually bought stuff back from him in the day, and he was still there. He's had to move a few times. He's got a warehouse full of mostly Commodore stuff. So I help him, me and another guy help him, clean it up, find stuff, test it out, get some of it up on eBay. But this picture is probably from 5 years ago. And I'm sure we have 90% of that stuff is still there. So it's literally a warehouse, and it's hard to get rid of it all. So Lair the Lich King. This was basically my 2020 COVID project. I wanted to make a 128 game. I wanted to be 80 columns because, of course, there's not very many, people bother for the 128 native stuff at all. Last few years, there's actually some pretty cool stuff, of course, but back then there wasn't that much at all. It is kind of a ode to text-based games, and I don't mean like Zork or Infocom. I mean, back really in the start of gaming, late 70s, like Rogue, this game Rogue, which really was the first graphical adventure, quote unquote. Games like that were of course common because there was no graphics really. And this is kind of, I had a lot of fun playing Rogue on my dad's PC back in the day. So this was my kind of version of that. Roguelikes they're Dungeons and Dragons type rules. You basically fight your way down dungeons, get to the bottom, find the idol or whatever the thing is, and then fight your way back out and try to get out. They're kind of the, you can build up armor and experience and spells and stuff like that as you go. And the monsters get harder and harder as you go. The two kind of defining characters of roguelikes are that if you die, you're done. There's no restart. I mean, you just start over from level 0. So they're hard and they can take a long time. And two, the dungeons are all auto-generated. So unlike Temple of Apshai or something where it's the same map all the time, these ones you need to, they're generated every time. So it gives you new playability in theory as you go. No game is the same. So I got about 90% done with that. And then I got distracted and started working on a kind of a workbench replacement for the Amiga, which of course I never finished that either. But then January 2022, I heard about these Phoenix Retro Systems things and kind of fell in love with it and got really excited about it. And I ordered an A2560. That's basically a 6840 in a Amiga 600 like case. I also got a used C256, which is a 6502 but 65816. So this kind of semi 16-bitty one that's in the Apple II GS and Mega 65, and C65 would have been in it. This kind of a alternate vision for what a future Commodore might have been. It's got a lot of sound chips, including SIDs, 2 SIDs, some Yamaha stuff. So I reworked Lich King to run on that, and that took a few months, but I got that up in September, and then promptly broke my C256. Probably you can see it out on the bench there. Probably not the right way to do it, but that was my fault. But that's okay, because that same month I went to Vintage Computer Festival in Chicago, and they had someone let me play with their pet, and they had a pet 4032 out there, and I don't think I'd ever actually played with a real pet, and I just fell in love with the green screen thing and all-in-one computer. Loved it. I was so excited. I went home and like, okay, I'm going to make Lich King work for pet. And I just started tossing out features left and right because you have to cut down for 32K. It's got no custom graphics. It's got no colors. It's slow, 40 columns instead of 80. So basically not a complete rewrite, but, I just was cutting us up and, well, didn't work, failed miserably, total failure. But then having done all that work, I was like, well, what do we have in Commodore land that's got 80 columns? It's got maybe no color because I had all that pet stuff I did, and no user base. Well, that's a Commodore 700. So Commodore 700 is got a bunch of different names. It's called the B series. Over here, they're called the B128, B256 mostly. In Europe, they were CBM 710, 720s. I think there's a 600. I don't know if the 600 ever went on sale in Europe. This was meant to come out in about 82, about same time limit as a 64. It was going to be the 64 was going to be the home computer, and this was going to be the replacement for the PET in the business market for Commodore. But unfortunately, they had a lot of problems with it, a lot of hardware problems, a lot of software bugs. Never quite, and it just like missed the boat basically. And IBM PC came in, and Commodore basically just gave up before even launching it. And it's got a really cool story of this. They sold it to a, like a reseller that they gave them the whole warehouses over to this place, and they sold them in the US anyway. But there was a really interesting kind of a users group in Chicago that basically kind of blackmailed and cajoled Commodore and other people to make new software for, not Commodore, but they got like source code out of Commodore, which is pretty amazing. And kept it going for like years. So it's a pretty cool story in itself, but it's also a beautiful computer. Probably, arguably Commodore's best looking computer. So that leads us to this one. So let's do a quick demo of Lich King on the emulated B series. I'm gonna run it in Vice because that's, as far as I know, the only emulator there is. And I have Amber because I like Amber, and a couple different graphic modes on the B machines. You've got the kind of high boys, the ones with the built-in monitor have a 9x14 graphic matrix, character matrix, and the low profile ones have an 8x8, so they'll look a little different. There's some really unfortunate decisions Commodore made about this computer. So sometimes this one is in uppercase because if you're in lowercase, you get all these lines between all your Petscii characters. So Lich King is for the PET, for the B128 is it's obviously all custom, normal characters, and do Petscii graphics, for splash screens and enter screens and stuff where possible, we just, use the regular Petscii characters. So some name. Each level, as it loads, it gives you a little text for flavor. It's basically just to keep you reading while it's creating the dungeon, because it needs some time to churn through and generate the dungeons. But they are, they're different every level, and you sometimes they're game hints and some stuff. So here's a pretty typical starting screen though. We've got 3 lines of status across the bottom, which is, going to tell you what happened. If anyone's ever played a Rogue or any roguelike, it should be fairly similar, though it is different. And then the lower right is some, stats about you. And here's where the lack of custom character graphics really hurts, because you have to basically memorize what those things mean. Luckily there's a heart symbol, so that's your hit points, but the rest of those you're on your own to memorize. There's a manual and a quick start guide, of course. In a Rogue, traditional character is a little heart sign. An @ sign. So that's the hero. You run across, you can see different things. If you just run over them, you pick it up. So that's a potion. I can drink the potion if I want to. Oh, well, it was poison, so now I'm sure I'm nearly dead. There are rooms connected by corridors. There's some gold. You basically wander on in these dungeons trying to find stuff and fight monsters. You want to collect money because there is, oops, that was a monster I killed really easily. There's a guy called the Tinker, who's basically like a traveling salesman. Ooh, plate armor. That's like the best armor you can get. That's super rare. Right, so you have this, basically he's like a little traveling shop, and you can trade stuff to him, sell stuff to him for half price, or buy some for double price. If I want to buy the greatsword, which is a really awesome weapon, it's random what he has every time, so he doesn't always have what you want. He'll always buy anything you have, but you can't always afford to buy what he's got. So that's, the kind of the game. Oops. The first level of the monsters are all super easy to kill. That's intentional, so you can get a feel for the game on the first level before you get into the real one. Oh, I can't see because there's things in the way. Anyway, let me move that slightly. I just want to get to the next layer there, and then we'll stop. So sorry, that's a monster coming around. But just to go on, so again, here's the notice boards coming up, and they're a little different between each one. I've also, because I like ASCII, I've captured some kind of classic ASCII art and tried to embed that in different places. Again, with the B128 character set, it doesn't have a backslash, for example. So, this one looks pretty awful, but works different on different things. And here you can see that example of the text, the spaces between the lines. That's what lowercase mode is like on these computers for whatever reason. Commodore thought that would be good. Anyway, that's the quick demo of the game. Go back and present here. So this game is mostly C. There's some assembly mostly for some memory routines or a place where I had time and I needed to cut down memory. So I did redo some things in C. And then of course on the C128, there's a lot of everything that has to do with the video display chip, the VDC is in assembly, just because it works better, essentially. For environment, I do this all. I don't use fancy studio, Microsoft Visual Studio code or anything like that. For one thing, I'm on a Mac, although Visual Studio Code, of course, works fine on a Mac. But there's not a lot. No one has done a great integration, for example, for a C128 or a B128, as far as I know. So I just do it in a text editor. BB Edit, it's kind of the king of Mac's text editors. It's been around since 1980. I don't know, 86, 87, something like that. So it's also old. The Petscii graphics, I use Level, which is just pretty awesome. I hope the guy updates it though. And then I maintain now 3 different code bases. So I got one for the C128, one for the B128, one for the F256, and I have a 4th older one, which is not updated anymore, for the C256 and the A2560. I'll probably split those if I ever do anything with those in the future. So, one of the challenges here is you make a fix one place, you got to go make it in the other places, and they're mostly the same code, but there's different enough. You can imagine some have color, some don't. And they all have different memory structures. So kind of challenges here. The number one thing is memory. Memory is where I spend almost all my time. I do a lot of things of mapping of each of these systems. So down to the byte often. I've got lots of maps and I experiment with, is this byte going to be safe? Is the kernel going to muck with this thing during an interrupt, or can I stash something there? I use a lot of overlays because I think on the C128, there's only about, I want to say it's about 31K of contiguous usable memory for CC65. So you got to find it elsewhere. And even on the B128, there's a bigger chunk of memory, but 64K is not enough. So that's mostly what I do. And if I have time, sometimes, again, I really need space, I'll go and convert some C routine into a assembly room routine to make it faster, but that does make it harder to maintain. And for me anyway, it's slower to write. Again, keeping the code bases is in sync is a challenge. Honestly, it's super close. I mean, it's basically done. So the number one challenge I have right now is basically finding someplace that will make me a good box for the game, because I would like this to be an experience. We have a good box and a good manual and all that. And I thought it would be super simple just to this is my Vulcan box. It's just a plain box and it had a nice color wrapper around it. I thought this would be super simple. Turns out, no, people don't make generic boxes. That, and I'm looking at custom printing ones and places turn me down. I got a couple in India that'll do it, but I think the paper is super thin. So anyway, that's the current challenge. Launch wise, if you're interested in playing, right now there's public betas for both the Phoenix F56 and the B128 and the C128. The B128 and C128 are both on forums at vcffed.org. So if you just go to the Commodore forum there, you'll see there's a thread for each of them with links. Always go to the bottom though, because you can't edit those, and I always put the latest one at the bottom. Whatever the last part will be the most recent build. The demo has 3 levels only, and then it restarts. So if you're interested and you really want to test and you'd like to go further, let me know. I'll shoot you a full copy. It would be great to have some more testers that go all the way. Launch wise, I'm hoping to do this in kind of September-ish with VCF Midwest, the Vintage Computer Festival Midwest in Chicago, which is in the middle of September. So I'm gonna try to get a table there. But could be available before then. I'm just, I got to get a commercial website or whatever, a commerce website that'll take a credit card. And I got to get that box solved. So there's a couple of requirements there just to be aware of. If you are on a 128, you do need to have a 64K VDC, not a 16K one. That could be a future enhancement, but it'd be a little slow. I am using all that 64K. I need an 80 column monitor, of course. It uses the 40 column space for stashing stuff, of course. A disk 1571 or 1581 or 1581 compatible, like the FNX 1591 would work fine. And on a B128, just be careful. Some of the testers have found problems with like what is it, SD to PET or PET to SD is not compatible enough, I guess, timing wise. But there's another one which PET Disk Plus, maybe, I can't remember. I don't have it, which seems to do really well. Or an 8050 would, of course, work. And I don't know what it's going to cost yet. This is very much a DIY thing. So, first time for me, and we'll see how much shipping and stuff like that costs. This is the packaging design. If I ever find someone to do it, it could be a slip-on cover. It could be a full cover thing. It's got a manual. The manual's got, nice artwork in there. Describes pretty well what's going on in the game. Then there's a quick start guide there with a keyboard thing for yours. It comes with a disc. It'll be a 5.25 or a 3.5, whatever you want. Well, I mean, I'm not going to give you a 3.5 for a B128. That wouldn't make any sense. And a registration card and maybe a USB stick. I've gotten an angle on one with a skull shape, so hopefully we'll be able to pull that off. And if, you'll buy one, you'll get all 3 versions or all 4 or whatever there is at the time. But not disc-wise, you'll just get the USB stick with all. And then I don't know what's next. I'll probably just open source it and be done with it, because it would be fun to work on something else. And there's only so much time in life until you retire, I suppose. That's probably most likely, but I don't know if people are interested. It might be fun to do it for another computer, like maybe the A2560 or a Mac Plus, although I don't know, a lot of good Mac games. Maybe Amiga, maybe next if I ever get that beastie over there working, maybe an Apple III if I can find one, but I don't know much about it, but I think that just has like an 8K window. That could be hard. So that's it for me and Lair the Lich King. Does anybody have any questions?
Many thanks. Actually, I had some questions, but then you went answering them as you were speaking. I was going to ask where can we download it, but then you explained that it's. But by the way, the link that you gave there is that the link where is maybe that I didn't get it, the public beta is available from there, or is it just a form where you can ask for it, or how does that work?
No, it's on there, right? So
okay.
I put the demo version, right? And if anyone wants to play more, just shoot me an email or something, or contact me on there or someplace, wherever. I'll shoot you the full version on it.
And there you have also all the versions, or is it only the one for the B2, or which one is that?
Yeah, there's one thread for the B series, and there's one thread for the C128.
Oh,
and then if
nice.
you want to, if you're on Phoenix Land, I mean, I'm on the Discord there, so, and it's available there if you're in the Phoenixes.
Okay.
Phoenixes.
Yeah. Good. I like your comment about every byte counts. I think sometimes when you are with young developers today, you have to explain them that some decades ago it was like you had to really be very cautious about every single line of code or something, because now they are just so used to have whatever resources are available, and everything is more or less so easy.
No, I honestly don't think anyone thinks about RAM size anymore at all. I mean, we use these frameworks, in modern computer. They're just like enormous, the framework, right? That's before you've written a line of code.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is challenging though, but it's fun,
I don't know if amongst the attendees here, is there anybody with questions? Facebook page, nobody. Seems no. Let me see the chat, but I don't see any notifications in the chat neither. No. Okay, but then maybe I go with another one. What is then? So you said now it will be okay. It's in beta review, and then it will be available later, commercially, etc. How do you do for Europe, for example? Do you have like a distributor in Europe, or?
Well, I mean, when I say this is do it yourself, I mean, like, I got nothing on this one. So this is going to be me literally putting these together. Well, I am going to get the box printed because I can't do that, right? That's just impossible. But I have a source for discs. I don't know. When I showed you my friend Ray's shop, I mean, one of the things, he's got thousands of floppies in there. So the discs are not a problem. I mean, I'm going to be copying myself. So his advice, by the way, was he sells stuff on eBay. And he's like, if you sell it on eBay, it'll be cheaper internationally. If you sell for Europeans, it should be a lot cheaper because apparently eBay, like it bunches them all up and ships them over in a huge container or something. And so the shipping costs to Europe are a lot cheaper through eBay than it would be if I just took it to the post office. But
I was more thinking about the toll. When you buy something in the US, maybe it costs five euros or something, and then if it goes through the custom, it may be that they ask you 20 euros or something. So sometimes it's just completely crazy, depending, and you don't know actually what is the source of these events. It's like. It can really depend. You can buy something that costs 3 euros and then you don't get any additional custom, and then once in a while, for some reason, I don't know, really depending on the guy at the custom, maybe then they put something in addition, an extra charge, and then they just keep it until you pay it, right? So it can be really tricky. So that's why I was asking if there was any plan to have the disc, because of course downloading or something, if you do it like electronically, that is easy to buy from another continent. But at the moment you want to start sending discs, maybe it could be better to have someone actually in Europe.
Well, I'm totally open to that. If anyone knows someone, let me know. I don't care. I mean, this is not like a money-making opportunity, to be clear.
No, I can imagine.
This is like a big money pit to which to pour money in. So if someone wants to, manage this stuff in Europe, God bless them. I'd totally be happy to work with them. And they can take every ounce of profit that is possible out of here. I should have mentioned too, I think at the end, once I get through these boxes, I would like to I'll just, like I said, I'll probably open source it, but I'll probably also just put it up there in electronic download for $2 or something, whatever. But I mean, for me, I wanted to create like an old school experience where you had a game, you actually got physical stuff, it's got kind of fun stuff in it. That's what I was going for with it. So that's an important part to me. But once some early period where those are gone, then, or have a chance to sell, then I'll just put it up on for download or something. Hopefully that'll take care of that, the customs guy. But every customs agent does need a very good random number generator to know which packages they should pick out and like randomly hold for like 6 weeks or something with no reason. So they need coding too.
I see a question from Gennaro. Actually, if you can later on put the link as well in the chat so that it can be, because now I think it has to be retyped from the screen.
Yep.
That's the only question I see. Good. Let me just check on the Facebook page. No, I see. Okay. But I would say then many thanks. If there are more questions, like usual, people can put them in the chat, and if you stay around, then you can maybe answer them there. I will stop the recording now. So many thanks again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
And I still don't see Matt in the call, even though he said he would join briefly. But okay, so maybe we can go to the next one then, who is Sven with Amiblitz, basic for Amiga. Sven, are you with us?
Yes.
And are you ready?
Of course.
Yes. Oh, sorry, you had maybe a question. I saw at a certain moment you had a hand raised.
Yeah, it was not a question exactly, but to Micah, it is really awesome what you're doing nowadays, especially nowadays. All this collecting of bytes, or can I save some bytes here and there. I have some colleagues at work, and when I ask them, hey, what is the requirements of memory for your program they are developing in C#, and they are using the .NET framework, and they say, memory, what is it? I don't need memory for my program. And, these are youngsters. And another one I asked, he said, when my program starts, I take all the memory in the system, it's all mine. So they don't know, they don't even know what a byte is, or a long word or something. Like, they only know what a gigabyte is, and that is it. So it's really cool to see the effort you are doing in 2023. It's cool.
It's been a very retro experience for me. I mean, I think we all go through that progression, right? Like the frameworks, everything became more and more memory, but this is, I would say the fun part about this for me is to go back to 8 and 16 and 32-bit stuff. Is if you do some 8-bit programming and then you go work on like something for an Amiga or a Mac, a 16 or 32 or an Atari ST, whatever, you're like, oh my God, I have 4 megabytes of memory. I could build anything. And like it's all continuously available. I don't need to, I can address it all. So it's a great refresher.
Yeah.
Makes you appreciate your other stuff too.
Oh my God, you have a multiply operation. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. I hope it works with Zoom. So are you seeing anything?
For the yes, it's the Amiga OS 3.2. I will start the recording.
So actually, I don't have any sheets or something like that. I didn't prepare anything. In fact, I never talked about Amiblitz 3. Never. It's the first time I'm talking about Amiblitz, and above that in a foreign language. It is it's not very easy for me. I hope you you understand what I'm trying to say within the next minutes. So maybe the first question to you: does anybody of you know Amiblitz or the former name Blitz Basic? Okay, at least one person, Gennaro, said yes. Many Italians here in this session, I see. Okay, what about Amiblitz 3? It all started with this one, Blitz Basic from Blitz Basic version 2.1 from 1995 from Asset Software. It was a well-known basic compiler. It was a very fast basic compiler. We had Blitz Basic and we had Amos, the creator, and the compiler extension. These two compilers were the most common, I think, in the Amiga world in the 90s. And I started with Amos, and later Amos Professional, and did some stuff with it. But it was and it is focused for games, for multimedia application and so on. And I always wanted to do workbench applications. No, not games, but applications. I did a database program and a simple text editor and all these things I did. And therefore, Blitz Basic was better suited because you could program in an OS-friendly way. but it was done for programming on an Amiga 500 without a hard drive, and therefore it is very minimalistic. The text editor is yes, you can insert chars and delete them, but that's it. It's not very comfortable, and it was not very comfortable. So later then I sold my Amiga. I also had an Amiga 4000. That was a really cool computer. I sold it for some bucks because I thought, oh, I have a PC, I have WinUAE, I have emulation. I don't need an original Amiga anymore, a classic Amiga. Okay, so that was a fold. And later on, I have to bought all these Amigas again, Amiga 500, Amiga 1200, and another Amiga 500, and so on. Okay, but in the meantime, I forgot all these things. I sold my Amiga. I did not do anything with Amiga. Several years ago, I started again with this emulation, with this new emulation possibilities, and I thought, what did I do several years ago with Amiga? I programmed with Blitz Basic. I remembered, and I tried to find it again, and then I thought, oh, the source code is available. And there was a guy called Bernd Rösch who started to improve the compiler, but Bernd did not had interest in optimizing the IDE, the text editor. He just added several things to the compiler, mainly FPU related stuff. So the system he developed needed an FPU, and that was a time when I started to join him, and we together developed Amiblitz, first Amiblitz-II, the FPU related stuff, the IDE, and later then Bernd went away, and I was the only maintainer of the product that did Amiblitz-III. So when we start Amiblitz-III, what do we have? I invested several hours, thousands of hundreds of hours to improve the text editor, and I tried to improve the functions, the possibilities of the IDE to get shit done or easier done. It's the same compiler as Blitz Basic 2 with several extensions. And what we have here is Amiblitz-III in the current edition, and we have several windows. That's the first thing that you see. And my plans are to do a very powerful, modern IDE to program programs on the Amiga itself, not with Visual Studio Code and these extensions that are available. I want to code on the Amiga. And I want to have all these functions, these tools directly in the IDE. So one thing you might know or you should know is Blitz Basic is a very, very fast compiler. It is really fast. It's several times faster than C because it uses so-called blitzlib functions. So the compiler has several libraries that consist of all these commands, these functions, and these commands are coded in pure assembly language. So they are pre-compiled, and the only thing the compiler has to do is to link all the needed libraries together in an executable, and there's some code linking all this together. This is the reason because this compiler is so extremely insane fast, because 80% of the code is already compiled in assembly language. So you have these libraries with all these commands and all these functions to code with. That is the one thing you can use, or you can use some wrapper libraries to directly use OS functions. if you want to. So you can code, you can generate code that does only use Amiga OS libraries, and you don't have to open and close all these libraries for yourself. Everything is done by the IDE if you want, or the compiler if you want. So many people that want to code with Blitz Basic or with Amiblitz, they don't know, like nowadays .NET developers, what are the functions, what are the commands I can use. So they don't know what are the possibilities of these Blitz libs. And the first thing I integrated is this so-called instruction browser. Oh, sorry. There's some kind of search engine. If I want to do something with a screen, I want to open a screen, I just enter screen, and the IDE gives me a list or a table of all available commands that are doing something with screen. All these commands are doing something with the screen. The commands with this underscore at the end of the name are OS functions. So get pub screen is a command from the Intuition library, or yeah, most of these screen commands are from the Intuition library. You see, what you can see here is the name of the library. Intuition library is a native OS library, and I can use this command just if I say add to code, then he will enter the code into the source code, and the command is the function is in there. So if I want to know what is the syntax of this command, what are the parameters I can use, I just press help, and I see here in this status area in this first line, okay, there's only the name of the function, and this is the only parameter. It's obviously a pointer to a screen, and we have again here it's located in the Intuition library. So that's a syntax called syntax help. I can, but I can do more. I can press Shift and Help, and it automatically opens the corresponding autodoc file from the SDK of Amiga OS, and give me a lot of information about how to use this function. Okay, so I have this source browser or this instruction browser. Oh, I think I closed it. Oh, there is this zoom line. I can't access. So it should work. So I can just open the instruction browser again. So this instruction browser is a nice add-on, a nice a tool to get familiar with all these commands that I want to use. Okay, another example is the obvious print. Okay, I see here all the print examples, all the print commands that are available in the system. As you can see, there are several print commands because we have several Blitz libs that contains commands to print. Not all prints are doing the same. Some prints only on screens, other print only on the console, and so on. So you can just search for a command. Another window we have is the library browser. With the library browser, you can get familiar with all the libraries that are integrated in the distribution. We have several libraries, I guess 180 libraries, and I just can, oh, there's something wrong with the screen, I guess. So I can browse through all these libraries, and on the right side, I see a list of all the commands that are available in this library. And you see there are lots of libraries included here. Another cool thing, another cool tool is a so-called definition browser here on the on the right side. I just open a short demo. So we have source codes, we have examples, and we have intuition examples or includes examples. So just open a simple program here. So, and I'm compiling it one time. So, I think it's, I have to quit it again. So what the program does is not so important. But if the program is compiled one time, the compiler and the IDE knows several information about the source code. So I can just only go over a constant, and the IDE show me the name of the constant and the current value of the constant in different annotation forms. Or I can go here into the definition browser, and I want to browse through some structures, internal structures. So I want to see, okay, what is the window structure from the system? Window. So I see here all the structures of the system that are defined, and we have a structure called window. And if I double click on it, I can see, okay, how is this structure defined? Okay, in Amiblitz it's not called structures, it's called new type, but it's the same as in Pascal, that's called record, when I remember correctly. So what can I do with the definition browser? I can see how are these different structures defined. I can see here all these offsets, and I can browse it. So you see in the window structure, there's another pointer to a structure called requester. I can double click on it, and I can browse through this definition. I can search for constants. Maybe I want to design or program a window, and open a window on the workbench, and I want to react on some messages, IDCMP messages, for example. So I just search for IDCMP underscore, and I see all the system constants that are defined on the in the Amiga OS, and I just can add it to code via clicking on add to code. So with all these helper windows in this IDE, I can search for commands, for functions. I can search, browse through the included libraries. I can search and browse through the structures that are defined from the OS, or the structures I defined for myself, just to get very fast information I need. There's another possibility. I can browse through the code. I open, let's open the source code of the IDE itself. This is the source code of this IDE, and I have defined, as you can see here, several functions. And I want to see where is a function defined. I can use the so-called source browser, and I can just search for a definition, pad, show, and I see, okay, these are the lines in the source code where I use this function, and I click there, and then he just sends me to that line. And when I say, okay, I don't want to see all the occurrences of this search string, then I can switch off all, and then he only shows me the definition, the function definitions. So just to see, okay, I want to see the definition of this function pad underscore draw blocks, and I click on it, and here's the definition of that file. What I can do above is maybe sorry, maybe I want to analyze The source code I wrote consists of different functions and different commands, but which of these libraries I used are included if I want to compile my file and I want to generate the executable of it. I just switch here to libraries and click on update, and he's searching for all the libraries that are needed, that are going to be linked into the executable, and I can just click on this plus symbol and I can see, okay, from the library rows and string, I used all these functions. There's already a armor slip with some little functions that were well known from the armor system, max and min, for example, and these two functions are used four times in the whole source code. So if I want to get rid of a certain library because it is too huge, then I can see, okay, here I use this function. I can maybe replace it with another one to get rid of this function. So this is very little talk about the IDE and the possibilities of the IDE. There are a lot of more. I already forgot. Yesterday I tried to update the documentation of the Amiblitz system, and I wrote a little passage usage, or I wrote a little abstract about differences between the Blitz Basic 2 and the current Amiblitz 3, and I listed up all the differences from the compiler from the 90s and the actual compiler. Okay, that's what I wanted to say first. Maybe I can have another talk at later on. I can have maybe I can show some demos what you can do with Amiblitz, what programs you can do. Maybe I have a little example here. What's possible with this compiler? Source examples includes maybe this one. I don't know if it works right now. Huh? So this is just a simple 3D cube, not with armors, but with it's done with Amiblitz. And let's see the program is done with 200 lines of code. So it's all done with all these included libraries, and you don't have to do most of these things for yourself. It's nearly all there. You have just to use it. So that's for it for today.
Okay, many thanks. Maybe time for questions then. I have a few, but maybe someone in the attendees have. If so, just unmute yourself and please ask your questions. I don't see anything in the chat.
Hey Sven, this is Micah. That's pretty amazing. So I have like 50,000 questions. One, was the original IDE written also? I mean, if I understand you, you're eating your own dog food. You wrote this IDE in Amiblitz, is that right?
I wrote this IDE in Blitz Basic itself, so the IDE and the compiler is a mixture of assembly and Basic itself, and it compiles itself. So the original Blitz Basic was pure assembly language. And as the compiler has inline assembly possibility, it can compile the assembly code directly. And what I started to do was to convert the original assembly code back to BASIC. So most of the things you see, all these windows I've done are written in BASIC. So, and it's a horrible mixture of BASIC and assembly code. I don't want to show it. So, and my goal is to completely transform the source code from assembly to BASIC. And when I started to do this, I had no idea about assembly language. The only command, the only function I knew was move. And for me, it was a possibility to learn about the assembly language, and I had first to understand this section of code to transform it to a BASIC to BASIC. Okay.
Yeah, well, amazing. But next, you also said that it's faster than a lot of C programs because it has all these native code chunks that are written in assembly. Is it also make it smaller? I mean, the compiled code and the running memory, or?
I didn't do any tests, or maybe yes, because these I can show you a source code of one of these Blitz libs that are containing these commands. Let's see the 2D lib. So what you see here is okay. Let's a circle. Draw a circle. It's this assembly code. So in this case, it's using the OS functions itself. You see this on this jump. But this is a handwritten assembly code. And all these Blitz libs are handwritten assembly code. So I guess it is shorter because the C compiler has to do a lot more.
Yeah, probably. Very cool.
I see a question in the chat from Gennaro. So I think the question is if this is the same version of the Blitz BASIC on the PC. Maybe if that's not exactly what you meant, Gennaro, then you can unmute yourself.
No, it's not the same. The programmers of the Blitz BASIC edition from the Amiga, they left the Amiga and wrote Blitz BASIC again for the PC. And they said, hey, you can do with this Blitz BASIC executable on the Amiga, you can do what you want. You can disassemble it, and that's where we started. We disassembled the original code and began to improve it. So, oh, what I forgot is the IDE is highly configure. How do you say? I can configure a lot of things. That was the first thing I did. I did these preferences or the configuration dialog. You can set the screen mode. You can see all of these colors. You can set colors for functions, for strings, for constants, just to make it more readable. And it has a lot of more functions. I don't have the time today to talk about all these functions.
Maybe a question from my end, and you have so currently that is the version 3, or is it
3.9.9? Yeah.
Okay, very close to the 4 then.
Yeah. It's very close. Yeah.
And what was the fundamental change then from 2 to 3, and what do you expect as a fundamental change from 3 to 4?
Okay, the fundamental difference.
Yes.
From Amiblitz 2 to Amiblitz 3 was Amiblitz 2 had this FPU, was FPU related. So the IDE itself needed an FPU, and the compiled files also needed an FPU. That was a huge thing to remove all these FPU commands and replace them with normal CPU commands. But it's done and works. It works really good. You don't have to need an FPU anymore.
So I see a question again in the chat about the stable version. I guess that one is available, the stable version, from the link that you have provided.
Yes, this one, yeah,
website,
yeah.
right?
It's very stable. There are some bugs left, but not many. I'm working with this all the time, and I know about some projects that has been done with Amiblitz with the current edition. Some games that from this year. There was a game contest several months ago, and there are several games that were done with this IDE.
Okay.
It's stable enough.
Yeah, okay. And the link I see it's on GitHub, so I guess it's open source as well.
Yeah, installation is very easy. Just decompress the archive, copy it where you want, and start it. It should work. Out of the box, so called.
But is that then open source or really, or?
Yes, it's open source.
Yes, it's open source. Okay,
it's open source. Yeah.
Thank you. And then I see we have there's another question. Did it work on a disk on Amiga, or is that, or do I need an installation on the hard drive? Maybe that joins as well one of the questions I noted. That is, if you have a list of requirements, maybe that's on the link as well. I didn't check.
Yeah, it's on the link, and it's in the guide. I already opened. Here's where's the requirements page here. These are the requirements. If you want to program on an Amiga without a hard drive, please use Blitz Basic from the 90s. Yeah. You need about 12 megabytes of space. Most of the space is the documentation, all these autodocs, all these guides. Every Blitz lab has its own guide. So when I click the help button for the window command, it opens the guide file. So there are dozens of guide files describing all these programs, these commands.
Okay. You don't plan by any chance to have a kind of light version, and then it would take the documentation or the libraries when needed from online or something like that? Or maybe that's a suggestion for the future.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I never thought about it. My first goal is to get rid of all this assembly code to make it more easy to implement new functions. And the problem is, the more basic code there is, the bigger the file size, the executable will be.
Okay. I see another question from Mark. From a new user perspective, how long will it take to get to this level? So I don't know what this level means, but I get to maybe to learn it, or the new users. Is it easy to get to grasp? Or?
Yeah, this is really hard to answer this question. Maybe to get familiar with the IDE and the basic language, maybe 2 months.
Yeah. Okay, I don't see new questions here. Anybody new questions? Otherwise, if not, thanks a lot, Sven. I will stop the recording now.
You're welcome.
Stop the recording. Yes, and of course, if someone posts something, then as usual, you can check there. And then we have next from back to the 8-bit. I was expecting some Arturo, but actually it's Francesco.
Funny names. Yeah, it's a long story. I have a nickname on Facebook that is based on Arturo Dente, as you can imagine. but my real name is Francesco, and my label, if we can call this name, is back to the 8-bit, where I want to share my games or demos or whatever. I'm from Italy, and I apologize in advance for not being so good in speaking English like my previous streamers.
No, don't worry about that. I will start recording now, so that there you are, Francesco. Yes, so yeah, you can continue.
Okay,
Thanks.
Okay, I start sharing directly this desktop. Moment, please. Okay, this one. Good. Okay, the topic is about a tool I wrote several time ago in order to convert a GIF to some code that you can compile to have a working PRG for Commodore 64. Just to show some examples, I did starting from that auto-generated code. These are some of the demos I made. Okay, this is I don't know if you can hear the sound. Okay, this is for Star Wars Day, and it was done with a multicolor version of the code. Yes, because this tool started in a monochromatic fashion 1 year ago. And after some time, I developed the color version. Okay, so there are two kinds of way to use the tool. Okay, let's stop this. This is as I said, the multicolor version. This demo was made in the monochromatic. That is not so awful. I think that the monochromatic version has some special atmosphere, very retro, more retro than the color version. Okay. Okay. So this is only to show something you can do with the tool. So I moved to show where you can get it. You can get the tool on GitHub. This is a working beta version, but it works. You can get it from direct link, or simply you can go to GitHub and search for giftopetscii. In a Git, you have to choose the experimental colors branch, and you can find the application into the target folder, from where you have to load the jar file. Okay, so let's do things like people should do. Sorry, I downloaded the jar, and I can put it on a folder. Let's make a demo folder. Okay. Once you have the jar file ready, you can use it with some GIF you have to find that you like. There's something wrong in this these windows. Okay, so we have the jar. We have now to find a GIF we like. As you can see behind me, there is a Windows 98 piece of the screen, or one of the screensavers that I got from the web. So I can show the simple process to transform this GIF to a working PRG. So I save the image in the demo folder. I give it a simple name, just to be short. It's okay. Now I had the two files I need. I can open a command line there. And I can now start the tool. Of course, you need Java installed on your system. And this particular kind of conversion requires Windows, because I use a tool in an exe tool, an executable tool that is embedded inside the jar, taken from GitHub, from Antonio Savona page. So this is a first credit that I have to give. Sorry, Savona. Yes, Crunch. Yes, Crunch. Okay, that is in GitHub. I can't find it. Strange. Very, very strange. So here you are. So this is a tool that Antonio Savona wrote in Python. Having no time to translate it from Python to Java, I simply took the executable and in the bin folder. This is just Crunch, and I put it into the jar file. So when you launch the tool, this executable is unpacked into your hard disk. Okay, so for now we can use it only on Windows because it's an exe. Okay, so I can now use the tool and specify which is the file to the source file to convert, and it is the demo GIF. And I will specify the format that is color. Now the GIF is unpacked into PNGs that will be erased after this phase. And instead of the GIFs, you have a bunch of bin files that are the zipped version of the code of the image of the frames for the ASM program, for the assembly program. Let's wait a moment. Okay, so we have all the bin that have to be imported into the source code that is also generated. So all the process gave us this source code where that is for kick assembler, and we have a lot of import of bin files. Okay, so this is a boiler code that we don't have to do, and there is a lot of calls to the how do you say, macros of the crunching. Okay, so we can now compile this code with kick assembler. Okay, and we can see that it's quite big, the executable, because we reached the 80 page, but no, there should be no problem. Okay, so we can start it. Kick assembler has created a C64 files folder, and inside there is the PRG. So let's start it. I use C64 because it's faster to run from the master. Yeah, you are. You have no raw, no code. You didn't write code. This is the final PRG where all the frames of the GIF were extracted from the GIF and crunched into bin files. Each frame has a bin file for the cars, and a bin file for the colors. So you can see you have 17 chars crunch.bin and 17 colors crunch.bin, and so on for all the files. This is first simple way to use the tool. Also, not a person that is not skilled in programming can use it, because it's straight. How do you say? It goes on in a simple way. But in order to have some more stunning demo, you have to write your own code, of course. So it's not intended as a plug and play tool, but you can extend your code. I wrote the slides in PowerPoint, and just to show that you can use the PowerPoint and convert it to GIF. You can make your PowerPoint presentation in Commodore 64 if you want. So let's work again with the tasks you have to do in order to have your video. You have to choose the GIF. It's what we did here. Then when we made this search and find the GIF, you have to optimize the GIF if it's needed. And to do this, I use easygif.com. That is a very, very good online tool where you can upload a GIF, and you have several instruments to watch, to cut the frames, watch the frames, work with colors, etc., etc., etc. So if the GIF was too big and we went out of memory, that is not the case, but if just in case, we should have uploaded it here, and we could have used the tools that the site gives us. For example, you can remove every second frame, so you have half the frames, because every frame is 2 bin files. So when you have, for example, 80 frames, typically it's quite near the maximum of the top of the memory available for the demo. So with optimized GIF, you have of course a faster animation, but you can slow down in assembly if you want. And with 23 frames, you can put a lot of other stuff. There is another switch that you can use with the tool. That is a switch that tells the tool to start from a specific number for the first frame. Why did I put this this switch? I put this because if you want to make a demo made of, for example, 3 GIFs, you don't want to overwrite the bin files of the previous GIF. So if, for example, the first GIF ended with the number 25.bin, you can start the next GIF from 26. So I'm going to show this particular usage. So let's go. How did I call it? GitOpetscii live demo. Okay. Okay. As you can see, we have 3 GIFs that I already downloaded from the web. Now I will start to generate the code for the first GIF. So which source is M1. Oh, sorry. M1. I tell that is color. Okay, it's okay. Oh, sorry. There is some error. Ah, it's my mistake. I can't understand what did happen. A permission issue. Oh, it's weird because I did these passages in the Mega Man folder. Okay, I see that is we are near the end. So just to explain what I wanted to do, this huge amount of bin files are generated using the switch that I was talking about. So you have when you start the coding of the second GIF, you can specify that it has to start from a certain number. Okay, so minus C, number of the starting frame. Okay. I have also put in this demo some sound, just to show how it works. This is one. Okay, so you have to put yourself some code for IRQ. Okay, and I packed animations into some labels, just to call them several times. Okay, and this time I started from a strange number. Why? Because I loaded a seed, megaman.seed, that is from Nordish Sound, that ended at 1881. So starting from 1000. So the byte after the music is 1882, and from that byte I started the demo program. Okay, this is the auto-generated file with some customization. Okay, so just to show the final result. The final result is this one. And I had to seize 6, 7, 8, 6. Okay, as you can see, 24 kilobytes not crunched is quite big, but consider that there is also music inside. So I can tell that the crunching algorithm is a very good one. Too bad it's not mine. You have 66 couples of bin files. So it's not, they are quite a huge amount of imports, and the final result is that you have just seen. I think that there are, I said what I wanted to say. Excuse me for my English, I'm not used to talk. So.
Don't worry, Francesco. It was absolutely perfect. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Let me see if there are any questions. I don't see questions. I like the comment of Mike. You can make a presentation on your Commodore 64. These are not words I would expect to hear today, and indeed, that was really good. So a question from Sven. I did not exactly understood where the compile process happens to the something PRG file. So Sven, maybe you can also unmute.
Where the compile process happens. The compile process is up to you when you have to compile the assembly code with the kick assembler. When I showed the tool, I made 2 steps. One step is the one of using the tool in order to generate all what you see in the screen. So bin files, and finally the assembly file that is in this case mm1.gifgif.asm. Then I went into the kick assembly folder and I launched the kick, I launched the kickass.jar on the assembly code. I don't do it because it would overwrite my assembly code that I have personalized. So I don't want it to be overwritten. But this is the moment you have the assembly changed into PRG. When you launch the kickass on your AS file. The AS file is generated from the tool. I hope to have clarified the question.
Okay, I understood. Thanks, Francesco.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe then I had a question. I understood. Okay, the process. So you take like each frame, and then you at some point you just then convert or extract on one hand the characters files, on the other the hand you have these colors, and then you generate this PLG. But if I want, for example, to use the output as a kind of introduction for a game, you know, like that would be nice. But at the moment, the tool only generates that PLG ready to use, and it's not like I can.
No. The tool generates the assembly code.
Yeah.
The tool generates the assembly code that you have inside the folder. Then you can customize it as I did in Mega Man.
Okay. Okay. So that's why you had to compile. Okay.
Yes. Then you can compile it. Yes. If you don't compile, if you don't customize, you have a loop of animation, a never-ending loop. Okay. Without customization, you have a working demo of a single GIF. Okay, but you can do what you want. I tried also a video game where there is Kenshiro, do you know, Okuto no Ken running, and you can change the GIF with a joystick. So you change the animation. When you want to kick, you press the fire, and the GIF, the animation of the fire is shown, and so on. Okay.
Okay, that's nice. Good.
Okay, I don't find the commands to take off the share. I don't know why. Okay.
What do you mean to stop sharing?
Oh yes, no. The presentation is ended. So I don't know if you have some questions, other questions.
I don't know if there are other questions. I have maybe one. The link that you provided, is that that's the link to your website. I guess there is a link to the tool there as well. Is that then also open source or?
Yes, it's on GitHub. It's open source. You have all the code inside the source. It's I wrote it on NetBeans. So you have all the code inside. It's not a very good code, I have to admit, but I did it in a hurry, and there are some boiler codes, some choices that I would not do in a working in a job. So
that you should never mention, you know. Everybody does that, but nobody mentions it. Good. Okay. No, but many thanks, Francesco. I will stop the sharing now. The recording.
Thank you so much.
As I don't see any more questions. And just quickly looking on, okay, on the Facebook page, there is no question neither. And then I guess coming up next is Gennaro with the emulator, C64 emulator.
Yeah. Start sharing the screen. Hi all. As the same of Francesco, I ask excuse for my English. I write English much better than I wrote it.
Don't worry about it.
I can share this screen. Obviously, the emulator can be used very well on the emulator on the Mac. So the
Nice.
emulator in
Just,
the emulator is great. Because
just a second. I will start recording as well. So that's
Okay. So
perfect.
this is my already released some months ago 64 emulator. I'm Gekko. I have 46 years, and I started to code about 10 years. And after many years of using Commodore's computers, the most time the C64, some times ago, I decided to try to to write an emulator in C++. I wrote this emulator in the 2005 together with another coder that came from Holland, if I'm not wrong, in Java. But after we published it in the Java version, how it was called, I don't remember that could work on web. I don't remember. Anyway, we published this on the web, but we started to see that that plugin on the browser wouldn't be used anymore. So after 10 years, I decided to write this emulator. This is written in C++ together with an engine I wrote together with the game creators some years ago. We used to cooperate to write the Dark Basic. After I passed to this AGK engine, but I rewrote it because they not updated it anymore. So I ported it on the Android, the new version, and on the iOS, the new version. And iOS, it can be published because emulators, I don't know why, can be published on iOS, but on Android, it works nice. I try to start it, and after I show you what send me in a nightmare also on 64. This is the emulator. My graphic, I'm not a designer, so my graphics very Spartan. What I have, sorry for I hide one moment, please. I hide the banners. So I wrote it. Porting it from the Java, it was very hard because the most part was written by the Holland boy, and the engine part was written by me. So to understand what assembly and sorry, machine code does, it was very, very, very hard. But I have to be I have to admit that the engineers that wrote the C64 was very, 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 very strong. Very, 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 I don't know how to say, but they were genius. because in a lot of in a very small portion of memory they done things that are very amazing. Anyway, this is the emulator. I ported it 1-to-1 pixel, obviously on the on the on the cellular on the phone on the smartphone is stretched, so not very well pixel perfect. Um, when I wrote the UI, I'm always Spartan because I I design always by code. I don't use um, the native or other UI because I wrote all in C and I don't understand very well. I started with Android since 2-3 years, so I prefer to write it by myself. Anyway, what I can say, you can mount the disk that are not always not on the app but on my server, and you can do what you do on the C64, like see what there is in the disk. You can call a game. You can program. Lately, I added also the feature to copy and paste a code into the command line, this, so you can have a buffer to write this code until the end. Because I see this feature in the other emulator like Vice that you can copy and paste on the screen, but on the smartphone is very hard to copy and paste, but it can done. So, there is an automatic fast load. I don't know if you can hear the sound.
I cannot hear the sound. I think when you share the screen, you need to also click one of these options so that the sound is shared as well. Otherwise, we don't hear it.
Yeah. Can you read this one? Okay. Yes. Tell me if you sound. I lowered the volume. It can be done. It can be here.
No, but still, I think it's probably not shared with the volume, with the sound. So,
Anyway,
that's not an issue, I guess. You can just continue.
it was a really hard part, the seed part, because I used to play it like a normal PCM, normal MP3, but the clock of the C64 is very strange. Not is very strange. Is hard to sync with the music. In fact, my emulator is not loop based on the core, but on the seed. So the seed, the speed of the seed give the speed to the clock. This is a little trick. Anyway, all the things you can do is to change the color. The most colored used in the various emulators. You can use the joystick. This all is for the smartphone, so you can use the two hand. In this moment, I can use the two hand, but I can do some trick to take the button pressed, but the 90% of the games and software works. Just some problem with one node or trap, as it is called, as a gem, don't work. It's a defender of the crown. I don't know. I don't understand why it doesn't work when the map was loaded after the character select. But anyway, there is a reset button. There are also all the buttons you can use to program to run stop. That player is not present, so are all stored on the server, and there are not ROM in the APK of the application. Well, this is the. There's not much to say on the C64. What I can say is that was a very challenge to code it, because I always read um, assembly or the machine code, but it's not my very coding skill, so it was very hard. Obviously, I took some machine code from other emulator, but in the last I wrote it from the scratch, so it was very hard. I spent about 60 months to complete it. Now I'm also working to do a better UI, maybe with a menu, something that on the smartphone can be more useful. Um, uh, but I see that not all emulators are very friendly user on the smartphone. So the important for me is that it was very stable, and it gives some fun to a nostalgic C64 boys like us. Mm, um, what to say? Sorry. I think it also works as a programming. I think I never I never tried it before, but I think yes. This is an error. Sometimes the buffer go in underrun, but can. Well, okay, it works. Anyway, many questions.
Yeah, let me see if there are any questions. Not currently in the chat.
It was published some months ago, so I think someone has downloaded it.
Yeah.
I done very much updates, because I repeat, for me it's very I don't know much bunch of application, but this the emulation, it was the first time. Now I'm working on the Amiga emulator, but that was a nightmare 60 times C64, but C64 the first time I don't understand nothing on machine code, so I passed 2 months to understand what engineers had wrote. Sorry.
Okay. But then you mentioned it's written in C++, and can you maybe just explain a bit how is it structured? How do you oh yes, also did you try to make it cycle really matching the cycling? So how much is it realistic compared to a real hardware? Did you try to compare? Did you do some kind of benchmarking?
Yes, the timing, I don't know if the timing is very, very, very um, near to the original. I repeat, I based it on the seed clock because to do it in a loop and event mode um, is very uh, it's very strange to sync seed and the CPU. But it can be done because I implemented the event part, but I based it on the seed. In fact, the seed, if you want to see it, uh, this is the time event that give the clock to the seed and so to the rest of the next operation to do in the MOS in the CPU. I tried to get it separated on two threads on different threads, but sometimes the sound. For example, I was playing International Karate 2. When you give a kick or a punch, you see fist the punch, and after sometimes you see. So for me, it was much easier to base it on the seed clock. Um, the rest mm, is emulated. In fact, the fast load is a way, is a trick to give to um, the floppy disk the possibility to have the bit free to read the next clock. But there is always also the real emulation. Um, uh, in effect, is a real emulation, but I go faster when I read sometimes, or I use the fastest CPU on the smartphone uh, to stop the seed that give the clock, and so the CPU goes to the maximum speed, and I restart the seed, and it returns to the normal speed. Uh, not very well like Vice, but about the 99%, 98. I also tested much games, and all the games seems to work. The only games that doesn't work is Defender of the Ground. I don't know why. I tried all the version, but it doesn't work on this point. In fact, I want to uh, contact someone who is much better than me on machine code. Uh, this code, this part, trap and nop. Nop, I think does nothing, but the trap and gem, I don't understand in machine code what it does. And some games use these traps uh, to create strange behaviors and do something that I don't understand. I don't know, but it was a very nice adventure to develop C64.
Yeah, maybe another question: is it really kept in terms of memory, or does it work like if? So would it be compatible with something that is supposed to use RAM expansion units? Or if there are some games, new games that are being written, but that don't really respect the amount of memory.
I done this question to myself sometimes ago. Um, uh, I looked at the RAM extensions, some external devices. It does not must be too difficult, but I, in fact, I coded it with the external chips. So I can also add some other chips that I naturally I have to code from scratch. But I have to see how they work, as I never used the cartridge or the RAM extension on the C64. I remember when I was child, I used a modem, some other things, but not very not very strong on this part. But I think it can be done. Just the time to understand how to include in the external chips and get the starting memory code to get the could be rammed at the start, if I can say in this way.
Okay. Good, thank you. Now you said so it's for Android. Is it available from the Play Store, or do you need to download the APK?
It is free.
Okay, so it is available.
Yeah. Since
okay, nice. Okay.
now I'm working on the Amiga emulator, but it's not stable, so I'm working on it.
And then do you distribute it as well from your website as an APK file, or do you have a? Okay, and is that open source? Do you have the source? Is the source shared as well?
In effect, the source is not shared because there are a part that I can't share because I done it together with another organization. So maybe in sometimes I can divide it from that part from the engine, and I will share it on GitHub, I think, or on my site.
Okay, maybe last question for me. So it's to be used mainly on the phone or on a tablet. And then do you have a keyboard on screen, or can you just type using a keyboard or something?
Yes, in effect, I coded it also for using an USB keyboard or a Bluetooth keyboard, but I had some problem because from the smartphone to a computer, Mac, I work on the Mac, or on a PC, there are some differences, so I must update this part. This is the last part I have to update. I think I do it until the end of the month.
Okay.
Because the screen keyboard is another night.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I think in the past I've been trying one of these emulators that was available, and it was just completely crazy. You had to, even on a big, I think you needed a super large tablet to be able to do something.
The reason I done the buffering on the command to copy and paste, because if you want to write something more longer, that is impossible. Exactly. on the keyboard of the smartphone, it's impossible.
Good, but many thanks. I'm checking if there are other questions. I don't see any. So if any of the attendees has any questions, please ask it now. If not, I will already start or stop the recording.
It's also very long to explain the code because it's very, very long. So the demonstration is much easier to done. To be done.
I know, that's fine. But many thanks. I'm stopping the recording now. And we end with a nice international karate, because that was one of my favorite. Okay, I will take over the sharing now. We are reaching the end of this event. Many thanks for attending. Many thanks, of course, to the speakers. As I think I'm always ending the talk with this sentence that without you, of course, there is no event, right? So we need you to come and present your project, and you see that it generates a lot of interest. So really, thank you for that. Of course, all the links that you have provided today are available as well on our website, right? The video of that was streamed on the Facebook page will remain available later on as well, and all the recorded talks will be then published on our YouTube channel in the coming days. So that remains available later on, and of course, then the next meeting that will be sometime in September, probably mid-September. So again, many thanks, and that's it for today. Then I think very soon, or like I said at the beginning, that there is also an event in Argentina. So if you're interested, if you speak a bit of Spanish, you can join them. I think I will do so. And it is, I think they start like 5:30 local time over there. So I don't know what it is now. I can check with the current time. Argentina. And I think that's in 1 hour then. So and if you want to continue the Commodore evening, then you can just join these guys. Many thanks. I will close now and wish you a good end of day, end of evening, and see you next time then.
Yep.
Bye,
Thanks all.
guys.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye all.